Good morning, guys. So today we're going to talk about adding mixed numbers. If you go to page 593 of your math book, this is where we're going to start out. Okay, let's do a little bit of the problem of the day and Common Core check that we haven't done so far. So here's a question. A group of friends swam a relay race. Margie swam 1/3 of the laps and Charles swam 1/6 of the laps. Well, if the race was less than 10 laps, how many laps did it have? Well, we know it's less than 10, so it's either going to be 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. Well, I know that Margie swam 1/3 of the laps and Charles swam 1/6. Well, the first thing, I need to get them both over the same denominator. And I know that 6 is a multiple of 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert the 1/3 here over 6. So that becomes 2/6. So she swam 2/6, he swam 1/6. How many laps total? Well, it's 6 because that's our denominator. Okay. And again, we're looking at fractions. Sometimes we need to get them over the same denominator in order to answer some of these questions. All right, let's look at the next one. All right. Camden dropped his lunch money on the school bus. Aww. He found some of the money, but some is still missing. He found 4/10 of the money on the floor and 3/10 of the money on the seat. What fraction of the money is still missing? Well, let's go back and think about this. 4/10, that means he had 10 coins, okay, in his pocket that's missing. He found 4 of them on the floor and 3 of them on the seat. So 4/10 plus 3/10 equals 7/10. So what's still missing? 3/10. Okay, and always think about what your whole represents. In this case, 10 would be the number of coins that he's missing. Here's another one. Janie went to the pet store. She saw 8 puppies. Well, I know that's going to be the whole. 2/8 of the puppies were black and 2/8 of the puppies were white. Remember that all the puppies that she saw all in the whole were 8. The rest were brown. So what fraction of puppies was brown? And we have to always write in simplest form. Well, I know 2/8 plus 2/8 is 4/8. That's what she saw. And the rest were brown. Well, if she saw 4/8, I know that there's 4/8 left over. And then remember, you can reduce it. I know I can reduce it because I know that 8 is a multiple of 4. And they're both even numbers. Okay? When you're doing your work with me, some of you are not simplifying. You need to take a moment to slow down and think, can you simplify? All right, next page. All right, Madeline did some of her homework on Friday. She did 2/6 of her homework on Saturday and 3/6 of her homework on Sunday. What fraction of her homework did she do on Friday? Well, I know that she cut it down into 6. So if she did 2/6 on Saturday and 3/6 on Sunday, that's 5/6. The only thing that she would have had left to do Friday would have been C, which is 1/6. All right. So go ahead and look on page 593. We're going to be talking about adding mixed numbers. So at the very top, let's take a look at the directions there. Mixed numbers are numbers with a whole number and a fraction, and you did practice this before. We can decompose mixed numbers to add them. Then we can use the associative property to group the whole numbers and like fractions together. I am going to show you 2 different ways on how we can add mixed numbers. Okay, and it's going to come down to what do you prefer to do. All right, so this first example, Madison made a fruit salad. Well, she used 3 1/4 cups of strawberry and 2 1/4 cups of blueberries. How many cups of berries did she use altogether? So basically, we need to find out what 3 1/4 plus 2 1/4 is. All right, well, the first way we could do is we could decompose each mixed number. Now remember, when we decompose, say 27 would be 20 plus 7. So we're going to decompose each mixed number as a sum of whole numbers and the unit fractions. So let's take a look at 3/4 here, 3 1/4, okay? That's going to come out to 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1/4. Think about it. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3 plus 1/4. Okay? And now we're going to take a look at the 2 1/4 and we're going to decompose that. So that breaks down to 1 plus 1 plus 1/4. Are you with me? All right, and then the associate property means that I can group them. So if I put all of my whole numbers together, I have 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So I have 5 whole. And then I add my 1/4 plus my 1/4. Remember, I got that from here and here. So 5 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 is 5 2/4. What do we know about 2/4? We can reduce it. So that comes down to 5 1/2. Okay, so that is one way that we can do it. You just decompose your numbers. All right, let me show you another way. Let me check that first. A way that you can check it is by drawing your models. And again, here's my 5 2/4. We started out with 3 1/4. That's, whoops. So here's my 3 and my 1/4, and I add it to my 2 1/4. And when you add it all up, you will have 5 1/2. Okay? Always make sure that you're trying to double check what you're doing. All right. Let's talk about the second way that we can do it. So if you look at page 594, the other way that we can do this is we can also write each mixed number as an equivalent improper fraction. Remember last week you were taking mixed numbers and making them improper, and taking improper fractions, making them mixed numbers. Okay, so this is another way that we can do this. So first thing you need to do is, our problem is 1 1/3 plus 2 1/3. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to write each mixed number as improper fraction. Well, 1 1/3, well, I know 1 would be the same as 3/3. And I'm going to add that to my 1/3. So my 1 1/3 actually becomes 4/3. Wish I had touch screen. Okay. Now my 2 1/3, well, I have 2 whole. So the 2 whole is going to be 3/3, which is a whole, plus 3/3, which is a whole. And we're going to add it to my fraction part, 1/3. So if I do 3 plus 1, I have 7/3. And again, here's your fraction strip over there. All right. So the only thing we've done right now, we haven't solved the problem yet, is we just had taken each of the add-ins and we made it as an improper fraction. All right. Let's go ahead and look at step 2. So we know that step 2, all we have to do now is add our improper fractions. We have 4/3 plus 7/3. Well, what's 4 plus 7? We have 11, and we don't change the denominator. Now, it's an improper fraction. All we have to do is then switch it back to a mixed number. So 11/3, if you have 11 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we know 3 pieces make up a whole. So this is 1 whole, this is 1 whole, this is a whole. So I have 3 wholes, and I have 2 pieces on this next one out of 3 of the whole. Make sense? And again, before you do anything, you want to make sure you simplify. The other way I can do this, it becomes 11 divided by 3. Well, I know 3 groups of 3 is 9. Subtract it. I have 2 left over. So my whole is my number above my division bar. My remainder is going to be my numerator. And my denominator will always be your divisor. Okay, that's the easiest way that you can flip a improper fraction into a mixed number. All right. All right, guided practice. So guided practice, we're going to do this and we're going to do it two ways. The first way is we're going to decompose this, okay? So 2 and 3 6 becomes 1 plus 1 plus 3 6. 2 and 1 6 becomes 1 plus 1 plus 1 6. You add up all your wholes first. So that's 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. And then you add up your fractions, which is 3 6 plus 1 6, and they have it right there. So I'm going to add up my wholes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 wholes. And I have 4, 6. Okay. 4, 6. Now, I know I can simplify 4, 6. So I have 4 whole. And if I divide each number by 2, I will have 2 thirds. All right. Well, let's say I want to do it the other way, where I want to make improper fractions. All right. So 2 and 3 6. I'm going to type this because it'll be easier. All right. So my 2 would become 6 over 6 plus 6 over 6 plus 3 6. All right, so when I add that up, this improper fraction becomes 6, 12, 13, 14, 15 over 6. My second number up here of 2 and 1 6 becomes 6 over 6 plus 6 over 6 plus 1 6. And when I make an improper fraction on that, 6, 12, 13, 6. All right. So now I'm going to add 15, 6 plus 13, 6. And what does that equal? Take a moment to think about what does 15 plus 13 equal. Okay, so I have 28 over 6. Now the problem with that is that's an improper fraction. All right, so I'm going to do the division. Okay, so if I take, and again guys, I know this is not touchscreen, so I'm doing the best I can. If I have 28 divided by 6, well, I know 4 groups of 6 equals 24. And I subtract it out. I've got 4 left over. Remember, we got to make sure that your remainder here is less than that. This top number here, that's going to be my whole number. My remainder is going to be my numerator over denominator, which is your divisor. And again, I know that this right here are both even numbers. I can simplify it. So then this becomes 4. Divide each number by 2. 2 thirds. Same way. So you have 2 different ways that you can do it. Up here, you're decomposing it. Down here, the second way is you're making improper fractions. It's whichever way works best for you. All right, where else are we? Okay, so that's as far as we're going to go right now with my video. You're then going to pick up the Google Docs, and you're going to have to add some fractions with like denominators. And again, I don't care how you do it. You can either do it this first method or the second method. You make that choice. I am going to have an open Zoom meeting tomorrow between 1 and 2. I will send out invitations. A good time for you to pop in if you're struggling with something. Okay. All right, guys. Hope to see you soon. Talk to you later.